friend, it's time. Thursdays is usually one of my favorite days. Why? Because we have the clinic. Clinic imefunguliwa. The relationship clinic is open. And as always, kabench nimeweka hapo nje na nimesanitize. Watu wakae pole pole wasisukumane. We have an interesting conversation to get into. We are doing a series looking at personalities in marriage and how personalities affect marriage. Today we are focusing on introverts married to extroverts. How does that marriage look like? And I was asking earlier, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And Joe from Umoja Inako, you say you're more extroverted than introverted. Diana, no, Jamo from Moranga, you say you're more of an introvert. You like your personal space. I know exactly what you're talking about. And then I have Lorena in Mombasa. You say you are an introvert. You can even panga with your friends. You're going somewhere. But when the day gets there, yani, you just feel like you don't want to go. You just want to stay alone. Enjoy your own company. People who enjoy their own company, wengine wanapenda kwenda huko nje nje, they don't understand how we can enjoy our own company. This morning, I'm glad to be hosting Rose Chalo. Rose Chalo is a psychologist. Rose, how are you doing?
And thank you.
Karibu
Good
sana.
morning.
Extrovert or introvert?
More of an introvert, but moving towards extrovert.
Okay, good to have you. Karibu sana. We also have
Thank you.
Sami Ombisa. Sami Ombisa is a wellness coach. Sami, how are you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you, bro?
I'm very good. Karibu sana. Wewe unaka extrovert?
I am.
Great. Sami, let's begin by first of all defining, when we talk about introvert and extrovert, what exactly does that mean?
Okay, basically, extroversion and introversion has to do with personality type. And is where now, for example, introversion is where a person has characterized traits which would lead this person to be more reserved, more to have preference of having time for themselves, the solitude kind of approach. And in most time, we find that these people want to keep smaller groups, or they like one-on-one kind of engagements rather than the large groups. And when it comes to the extroversion kind of personality, is where we see the person becoming more sociable. They are more assertive and cheerful. So this would mean they are kind of people who will do well in large groups, or they want the outdoor kind of life that has more energy being expended as opposed to the introvert. So that's how I could explain that.
Okay. You know, Rose, as I was saying earlier, when I tell people I'm more introverted, people feel like, really? Because I talk for a living. I mean, I actually talk for a living, but I'm an introvert, and that confuses people. I don't know what you can say about that. Because we tend to think an extrovert anaongeaga sana. Is that really the case?
We have introverts who have public jobs. Some of the politicians we have are actually introverts.
Yes.
Yeah, and they take a lot of time from drawing from their own internal strength, practicing, thinking about what they are going to say, thinking about the audience, thinking about how they will be in front of their audiences. And the fact that they will stand in front of people does not mean that they want to interact with everybody that they are talking to. They just want to do their job, to present what they have, and to talk and do their job. But after that, it may not even be easy for them to shake people's hands or spend time greeting everybody that was in the public gathering. If it is in a chat setting, they may not stand at the door to greet every congregant. But once they have done their job, they have the confidence to stand in front and just do their job and speak, but they will withdraw and retreat to themselves, because that's where they draw their energies from. So you'll find, like in a setting where in a, like, let me use the example of a church because I had mentioned it.
Yeah.
You will find the pastor or the speaker has just gone back to his office, and that is fine with him. It may not look fine with everybody because probably they are expecting the pastor to be there greeting everybody or almost everyone, shaking their hands. But they have done their job and they have gone back to their to where they draw the solitude space where they draw their strength. So it's not that the fact that someone has a public job or talks a lot will be an extrovert.
Okay.
They are introverted, but they have a job that requires them to be out there in public. Some of them are lecturers and public speakers and motivational speakers, teachers, and people in such jobs.
Okay. So now bringing these two people together, you have an introvert and you have an extrovert, and they get married. Sammy, what are some of the possible scenarios this couple could find themselves into because of their different personality traits?
Very nice one. The first thing we notice that marriage in itself is an institution.
Yes.
It means the two people who are coming into a marriage draw their satisfaction from how they engage with one another or how they fulfill commitment of being one unit. And so it means that some of the conflicts we're about to see is, for example, as Rose has just mentioned, you find the first thing, for example, for an introvert, if, for example, the wife is an introvert and the husband is an extrovert, how they spend time is very different. So the first aspect is how they spend time, which affects their mental and emotional rest. It affects their emotional feelings in the way that, for example, the introvert wants to be alone, and here is an extrovert who enjoys company of others.
Yeah.
A good example would be a scenario where you see, like, for example, you go into counseling sessions and you hear, he always likes going to watch football over the weekends when I need to have time with him. You see? So that can already be a sign that conflict can arise by just one person not understanding the other in terms of how their personality wants them to act to the environment around them, and therefore would make the introvert start to feel like, you know, I'm being left out and this is not fair, it's being selfish, and this can eventually lead to a relationship getting problems. A second way that this affects people's relationship is how they manage information. We have already seen the difference of the two, and you realize that the introverts would definitely need time to process information or formulate an opinion of their own, especially when confronted with new ideas.
Yeah.
And I like giving this example, for example, if the man goes ahead and purchases a piece of land and only to come home and show that, hey, you know, we already have this property in Kitengela, and the spouse was not involved in this decision making, being an introvert, she will definitely feel left out. She will feel like she's not part of this family, she's not part of this marriage. So in the sense of couples coming together, this aspect of understanding the other person's personality would be very important, because then you see, spending time is different. Managing information or even just decision making for the introvert takes time, because they have to internalize this information before they can come up with a final decision on anything.
Okay.
Then also,
before you move to the other thing, Sammy, I wanna bring Rose in on that aspect of time, because I think that's very important. And sometimes I think also how we interpret love is also based on our personalities. And I'm saying this because sometimes when I take a break, like last week I was on a break, and sometimes you find I'm in the house and my wife is leaving because she has errands to do, she has things she needs to do. She always asks me, are you okay if I go? And I'm thinking, I can't wait for everybody to leave the house. Yani, and then in you water, kids, you want to visit your friends today? Just go, 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 go. Because that time alone for me, I just feel so energized. And I keep telling her, it's okay. In fact, the best thing you guys can do for me today, go. But sometimes for somebody it's hard to understand. So I'm just wondering, Rose, because that can become quite a conflict because I'm wired that way, I may assume she's wired that way, but for her, quality time, she wants to be with me all the time. That's how she interprets love. For me, it's slightly different. How do we solve such issues, Rose?
Yes, it takes time to understand each other in relationships, and it will be important for a couple to understand each other and just know, like in your case, it will be important for your wife to understand that you are actually an introvert, that time alone for you is everything. You just want to be on your own, maybe with a book, maybe watching something, and spend your whole day without any interruptions, without talking to people, and you're very okay. It will also be good for you to understand that your wife thinks that you are okay when she is with you. So understanding each other is very, very important. Let me give an example.
Yeah.
Like in unwinding styles or leisure, you'll find when a couple is one of them is an introvert and the other one is an extrovert, they probably have different understanding or different ways of spending their time and unwinding. One probably would want to interact with other people. That's the extrovert. They want to go to a party. They want to go to a gathering, like with friends. And yet the other one wants to stay home. If it's on Friday, they want to stay home and just curl up at a corner and watch Netflix the whole evening. What would be a good balance would be pre-arranging or pre-planning how you spend your leisure. If it's weekends, agree that this weekend we will go out, and because you want to spend the whole night out, I will leave at 11 p.m. I will go home to sleep, and I will leave you to continue with the night. Now, with that kind of understanding, and depending on the dynamics of that family, there will be understanding, and it will be easy for them to know that when she goes home and leaves me at the party, she is not being rude. When I stay, I am not being impolite. They have that understanding, and they have created that respect and the mutual, the space for each person to be who they are.
I like that. I like that. It's all about introverts and extroverts married together, and how does that play out? Maybe as you're listening to this conversation, some light bulbs are coming on as you look at your own marriage relationships. If you have any questions for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. It is the Relationship Clinic. Personalities in marriage. Today we are looking at introverts married to extroverts. How does that marriage look like? What are the possible challenges they could be facing? Rose Chalo, who's a psychologist, is here with us in studio via Zoom, and also Sami Yombisa, who is a wellness coach. Sami, I was just thinking, you mentioned something about information. Would I be right then to say that extroverts freely share information and introverts saa zingine wanashikilia kiasi? Extroverts, because they're energized by people, they spill the beans, so to speak, for lack of a better word. But for an introvert, they brood over it over some time. Could that be the case? And if that is the case, could that be a source of problems and conflict? And how do you handle that?
Perfect. So yes, the answer is yes and no. First of all, yes, if the source of the information or the information itself is being spilled in the wrong forum, that can be a source of conflict for the other partner, who may feel that this was not the right place for you to speak such words if they came to learn about it.
Yeah.
However, that being the personality of an extrovert, they will feel even better to have spoken to someone about it, because that's their space they enjoy being at. They like where these people listen to them. They like where these people will love on them just because they are part of the group. Now, when it comes to the introvert, and where you say they brood on information, or sometimes they withhold information before they can release it, it's because of the nature of their personality, which requires them, or which compels them from the inside to internalize this information fast. What is it that I am hearing, or what is this that I am having that I need, first of all, to break it down before I can share with other people? So the answer would be in those two ways. Yes, it can cause conflict in between spouses, but also it can be a good thing, because then if an introvert realizes that there's no threat in this information going out, then they'll be free to actually be part of that information after they have really internalized it and they have accepted that this information is actually safe to be where it's being taken.
What about conflict, handling conflict? Do introverts and extroverts handle conflict differently? Rose?
Okay, yes, introverts and extroverts handle conflict differently. This is because extroverts will be more confrontational. They want to deal with the conflict and just handle it and finish with it here and now. At the same time, the introvert wants to think about it, wants to process, wants to analyze the situation and see how best can this be tackled? How can I express myself better in this situation? And in that case, the introvert will feel like the extrovert is pushy and bullying the situation, and being impatient and being selfish and just driving the situation to their favor. While the extrovert is likely to feel that they are being ignored, that the introvert is not interested in the discussion, that they are being insensitive, and that they are not willing to put things on the table so that they can have a solution and life moves on. So the two perspectives as in conflict resolution are very different. The approaches are very different. This is the confrontational versus the reasonable. The one that wants to reason and, come, let us reason together. While the other one says, I want it done now. Now I'm here. So there will be a difference in how conflict is handled by the two personalities.
Samit, so how do we find balance for the introvert-extrovert relationship? How do we find a balance in how we deal with conflicts?
I would say the first thing is to start to understand yourself and also understand your partner. In the sense that you cannot just assume that we are all the same. And as we know, even if you're not looking at the personalities, we have also been brought up from different backgrounds, under different circumstances. We have different childhood experiences. So once you have those in mind, the first thing is to help yourself to put the needs of your spouse first before yours. And you realize even this is even said in the Bible, when you're looking at the book of Philippians 2:3-4, you see that where you remove your selfish desires from so that you can allow the other person with humility. So you need to have that humility of understanding that the other person needs to come first so that we can meet at a midpoint, rather than you wanting to just be at the front just because you are the extrovert. Whether you are the extrovert or the introvert, first of all, bring the needs of your spouse to the front so that then you can meet in the midpoint.
I like what you said, and I think that's a key thing that many people who are married forget, putting the needs of your spouse first, because we have become so selfish. We are always thinking about me, me, me. You please me, you make me happy. You don't do this for me, you don't do. And so we get to a place where I think I married the wrong person, and that's how come a lot of marriages are ending up breaking up in today's world. So I think that's a very, very important point. There's a third point you wanted to bring across a few minutes ago. What was that third point, Sammy? You began by talking about time, and then you talked about information, and then you are going on to a third thing.
Okay, there's a time, information, and also how we socialize. Introverts have a social life that I heard from the first SMSs you read, where a lady says she can hang out with her friends, but she's going out, then suddenly, pop, she changes her mind, and the friends cannot understand what's happening to her. It's because typically being an introvert, she has already internalized and thought, okay, it's just going to the supermarket and getting groceries. Why can't I just get them from out here at Mama Mboga instead of going there? So that's the other way, that their social life is different. They would rather be, and the moment she realized that there are going to be 4 of them going to the supermarket, she would rather wait and go alone, or she would rather just be sure that it's only 1 person or 2 people, so that she's comfortable in that small group. Then on the other side, the extrovert on the social life, you know, is this kind of person who will want to know, when is your birthday? And I want to come. I want to bring this big gift to you. You know, he's all over. And that kind of socialization also can affect a spouse, because then there's one of the spouses who is an introvert would think their counterpart who's an extrovert is, as Rose said, becoming selfish by only wanting to be with people and not looking at my needs, not at understanding also the needs I have when we are together.
Okay.
So that's the social aspect, yeah.
Yeah, still tagging in on that social aspect, Rose, I'm wondering, does that have any effect on finances?
Yes, it does.
And how does that affect a marriage? Talk to us.
Yes, that's a very good question. Extroverts are very spontaneous. They could be what we call impulse buyers, impulse spenders. They may not take time to plan and, you know, review the budget and see whether is this relevant for us to buy now? Do we need to do this? Do we need this expense? Do we need this spending right now? That is an extrovert's mind when it comes to finances. They could just see an advert of a big house, a nice home, and they have been thinking about it, and they go quickly committing their family finances. While the introvert wants to look at that plan. Where is the location of this home? How much will it cost? If it's a mortgage, how many years are we going to be paying? How will that affect our everyday expenses and running? They want to analyze the situation and look at the planning meticulously.
Yeah.
So when it comes to finances, there is a big difference, and it is one of the main sources of conflict. Like just to echo what Sami has said, extroverts, when it comes to like holidays, they just want to go on holiday, and they could just get in a bus and go. They do not know where they are gonna spend the night.
They have gone.
The hotel, they have not done any planning. They just want to go, and they want to go with friends. If it's a girl, she's in her group of 15 girls, and they just want to go. While the introvert wants to book this holiday 8 months in advance, do proper planning.
Yes.
What outdoor activities will they do? What is required in the whole trip? And plan meticulously and put every detail in place. But extroverts just want to jump on the train and be at the next destination in the shortest time possible with the happiest group around them.
You know, one time I was watching a program where these people were asking questions on marriage, and this person was saying they have a problem with their wife because for the many years they've been married, they've never gone anywhere alone. She always invites friends, especially family. And this person shocked the audience, and he said, even on our honeymoon, we were not alone. Her friends came to the hotel, and I thought, oh my goodness. Sami, Moses here is saying that in fact many introverts don't even celebrate their birthday. Is that really true?
Yeah, that could be true, because then, as we saw, the introverts would have that solitude kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
They want time. They enjoy time for themselves. The me time for them is key, and you can't remove it. And so that would mean the birthday is here.
Yeah.
And because I don't want too many people around me, I decide, okay, let me have my Coca-Cola in the glass and just watch television and have my time here, listen to my gospel music and just enjoy my life here. And when friends are sending in, for example, Facebook, and congratulating her on the birthday, he or she will just take time to respond, and will respond the following day, because to them it's not a big thing. However, it's because of their makeup, their personality.
Okay. There's a question about, does one have to be either or? Is it possible to be both? We'll talk about that in the next short while. It's about 17 minutes before we get to Sambili Asubuhi. It's the relationship clinic. We're talking about personalities in marriage, introverts versus extroverts. Don't wait until extroverts. No, introverts. Don't wait until 5 minutes to the end of the show. That's when you want to ask your question. Ask your question now. 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786316316. Rose Chalo, who's a psychologist, is here with us in studio via Zoom, and also Sami Ombitsa, who is a wellness coach. Sami, this question is asking, where is it? Where is this question? Somebody is asking... swali tena imepotea. Oh, here it is. Is it possible to be both introverted and extroverted? I think as a man, I may be socially extrovert, but relationally introverted. I keep things private and don't discuss things that are close to my heart, but I'm very vocal when it's sports and other stuff.
Wow. So what I would say on that particular scenario is recent years have shown, studies have shown that we could have an aspect of ambiverts. Ambiverts are people who would have, would be in between the two poles of either extrovert and introvert. And so you'd find that they would share traits from both categories or both personalities. So that could be him, but also for the sake where he says that he sometimes has things but he cannot share, but outdoors he's good. I want to believe that it's not his ego driving him not to share, because when you look at the relationship aspect being a marriage, we are talking about a marriage here, and so being a marriage, I think as an institution, there are things that you have to drop. There are things that you have to carry so that now this marriage, as we said, you can meet in between with your spouse.
I like what you've shared, Sami. And I think that's sometimes where confusion comes in for quite a number of people, because we think you're either one or the other. But I believe the reality is we have both traits. It's just that one is stronger than the other. For some, the stronger one is quite strong. Maybe it's 80% introvert, 20% extrovert, because I truly identify with what this gentleman is saying. It's not that I don't love people. It's not that I don't get energy from people, but I still love my personal time. So probably for my case, I would say I'm maybe about 65, 70 introverted and the other part introverted. So I love what you're sharing. This one is saying, oh my goodness, you're making me understand myself better. I love people, but it's very hard for me to visit even my friend where they live. Some have told me I don't like people, but inside me, I love and help them from my house. Unawasaidia tuna huko kwako, wedi huko kule wako. This person is asking, how can I do this? Is it that it's a right and wrong thing, Rose? How does this person handle this situation?
Thank you for that. What I would like this person to understand is that it is okay to be an introvert. There is nothing wrong with it. I think society has glorified extroversion and tends to push people to be extrovert. You find we are always being pushed to, speak, to talk, to visit, to go out more. And if you are in a gathering and you are at your quiet corner, drawing your energy from within yourself and your solitude, even in that crowd or in a class, someone will come and ask you, are you okay? That is the general perception in the world. The society we live in just thinks that everyone just has to be extroverted, greeting everybody, talking to everybody, socializing with everybody, being a cheerleader, being the first to speak. I think we need to understand that it is okay to be who you are. It is okay to be introverted. At the same time, it is okay to be extroverted. We need to appreciate the introvert the same way we appreciate the extrovert. So do not tell the extrovert to keep quiet or to shut up or to speak less. It is equally, should I say, rude to tell the introvert speak up. are you okay? Go out more.
Now
Let's give each other space, be who they are.
Now, Rose, there's a scenario right there that you've pointed out, and somebody's actually asking about it, because they say this is an interesting discussion. My question is, as an introvert, I often feel overshadowed in social settings when my wife interrupts when I'm talking or when she talks over me. So many times I keep quiet, even if I have a burning issue. How do I ask for space to also speak without it appearing like we are competing and causing a conflict in the process? Rose, how do you deal with that? I've seen that happen quite a bit where couples are concerned.
Yes, that is where we ask for understanding and space, and appreciating each other the way we are, with the differences that we have and the uniqueness in each individual. We actually need to see how we can strengthen each other with our differences, such that the wife who talks a lot will be able to draw out the husband who is more quiet when they're in crowds. Not necessarily domineering, but if you have understood that your spouse is the person that will not talk, create a comfortable conversation where they can chip in once in a while, because you are aware and you are in charge of the conversation. Don't just go dominate and leave them to look isolated in their own corner. They will actually get bored. They will feel like, even though they are introverts, they will feel they don't fit in that gathering or in that sitting. It could be a sitting of 3 or 4 people, but if you dominate, they will keep having something to say, but they are fighting for that moment, which is not being granted or which is not coming. And they will just keep to themselves. And at the end of the day, they will not have enjoyed the discussion. It could have been a dinner with 2 other couples or with 2 other friends. But if you understand the person you are with and you are the outgoing one, create a comfortable space in the discussion, in the conversation. Pull them out, ask them a question. You will be surprised that they can engage you for another 10 minutes when all the extroverts are quiet, listening to the introverts.
Wow. This one says, I'm really loving the show today. It's giving me a lot of clarity. My boyfriend is extremely introverted, while I'm an introvert leaning towards extrovert side. I could say I'm ambivalent. I can be very impulsive, but he has to take days to plan everything. Even buying his own clothes, he takes almost a month in research. But we've come to really understand each other's personalities better. That's a good one right there. What does a wife do, Sammy, if the introverted man takes too long to fix basic important repairs around the house, like replacing the security bulb or fixing a broken down main door or gate? He's still planning. What do you do?
Yeah, it goes back again to understanding the differences we have in terms of personality.
Yes.
And the moment you have realized that he is just different, it's not that because he's rude or he doesn't want to do it, that alone will help you. And this being a marriage, for example, I believe we are in the era where marriage is for us. It's me and the wife to make it work. And so it is not a crime for even the wife to proceed on and get the fundi to fix, so long as that will still be a way of just being family and not looking down upon the man. Then that, to me, will still be a workable solution. So understand your spouse and work towards working together and making the family unit a successful one. Okay,
tell me what you think about this. It says, the introvert that I am, my partner wanted to make a big purchase of something for me as a surprise. I hate surprises. I got wind of it from a friend and I refused the purchase to go on until we plan. It seems like the other spouse is the one who ended up being surprised. How do you deal with that, Sammy?
Yeah, then again, it's an interesting one because it goes back to that idea that the husband who went ahead to plan to purchase the gift did not have an understanding of their partner being who they are. And therefore, when she realized, she made things move at her pace and preference, which is exactly what introverts would do.
Yeah.
And I repeat again, it's not because they are rude. It's not because they don't want the gift.
Yeah.
It's because they have to internalize this and bring it to a point where they're comfortable to take it.
Wow, great. My time is almost up. Rose, what's your parting shot to the introverts and extroverts who are listening in today?
Okay. I would like to give this as my parting shot. We need to accept ourselves as we are.
Yeah.
Do not feel inadequate because you are not an outdoorsy person. Do not feel like you are lacking something because you have a very small circle of friends.
Yeah.
That is who you are. You are into deep conversations, deep friendships. You just need 2 very close friends, and that is okay.
Yeah.
You do not need 20 friends to call for your birthday party.
No.
Go ahead and celebrate your birthday with your 2 friends.
Yeah.
And enjoy it to the fullest because that is who you are. And accept yourself. Don't feel inadequate. Don't try to be who you are not because you'll be frustrated. It is okay to go out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself a little, but that is not going to be your everyday experience. You're going to try when the situation demands it to use a little of the extrovert characteristics, but accept who you are if you are the introvert. If you are the extrovert, please do not come overshadowing everyone and bullying everyone and feeling like you are in charge of the situation. You are just different. We accept you the way you are. Take charge of the situation, be the cheerleader, entertain us, take charge of the meeting, give us our turns to speak because we need to speak.
Yeah.
We have been thinking and ruminating about what to say, so we need that moment to speak. So let us accept each other, let us accept ourselves, and the world will be a happier place.
Awesome. Sammy, what's your parting shot?
To all the couples and married people, celebrate your differences. Remember that sacrifice, perseverance, and confidence to invest in that which you want to be long-term will be realized. And even if it doesn't come in the first 5 years, the first 10 years, keep on pushing until you reach a point where you come to an understanding. Remember, this will be a marriage, and it will not be just any other relationship.
Yes.
And marriage will unite your mind, soul, and body, and therefore strive to making it work. And very lastly, if it goes on without resolve and you're finding yourself in conflict, please seek professional help, and you'll find yourself on the right track.
Awesome, awesome. Rose Chalo and Sami Ombisa, asanteni sana. I really enjoyed this conversation. It was so good to have you. Mbarikiwe mpaka mshangae.
Thank you very much.
Lucy Wanjiro is saying the struggle is real as an introvert. People ask, don't you get bored being alone? And my answer is no. I love people, but when I spend too much time around them, I get tired. My mind switches off on me. Yani, nachoka tu kabisa. Lucy, enjoy being who you are. That's all the time we have for the Relationship Clinic today. Thank you for being a part of it. Have a great day and God bless you.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.